Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, The Questing Mom, where we do tea time book reviews. We create treats for our tea time book reviews, do the occasional tea and coffee review, and today we are doing our weekly tea time book review. Super excited about this one. This is going to be part 2 to my book review from last week because this is book 2 in the series, which is also a continuation from the first book. So we have Raspberry Zinger tea from Celestial Seasonings. I've had this tea before. I absolutely love it, and I felt like a fruity tea might work better with our Danish. I actually have one that's holding together right now. If you haven't seen that video on how my Danish has turned out, go ahead and check out the link below. I will make sure to link it down there so you can see how that came out this week. But let's go ahead and let's start talking about book 2. So book 2 is about Dayne and Talis again. It's a continuation left off from the cliffhanger from book 1, and I'm really excited about this one. It goes with dual perspective. So every chapter you flip back and forth between Dayne and Talis. And I absolutely love that because I love seeing the other person's point of view. So you're not getting everything just one-sided. You kind of get to know what the other person is thinking at the same time. So it's a continuation. You get a little bit more in depth as to Talis's background. You get more in depth as to why Dayne is doing the things he's doing. And I absolutely, positively love it. This particular book is called Hot-Headed Alpha, a bully wolf romance book. And of course, it still stays within the same Cold Alpha series. So the nice thing about this book too is you do get to see Talis grow more as a character. So you get more insight into her. She's doing more than just being this broody, moody werewolf, which I absolutely love. And then of course you get more backstory into Dayne's history, and you get more backstory into Talis's history as well. So it kind of makes things make a little bit more sense out of the first book, because if you watched last week's video, obviously the first book is kind of confusing, but it's really nice because this gives you more background into things. So things just start to make a lot more sense this time around, which I love. That's why I said before, like, hang on, the second one is much better. So the nice thing is too, if you are not that big into spicy books or spicy scenes in books, this one has a lot less spicy scene into it. So if you're not into that kind of thing, that kind of helps out as well. And you also get to see more background into kind of like what's going on with the villains of the story, and you get a little bit more into their day-to-day life as well. Not too much into it because obviously they're villains for a reason, but you kind of get to see some of the background stuff that's going on the villain side, which obviously leads into Talis's story and how she was raised and how things happened as she was growing up. So also what I love about this book is it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you hooked the entire book. Like book 2 was one of those books that I had a lot of difficulties putting down. It was very much kept you hooked in the moment. Absolutely loved it. And then, like I said, I do love that dual perspective of things as well. You do also get to see more friendships being developed in this one. Talis is starting to become more and more one with the pack. She's starting to make more and more friends, which, you know, just it's part of that helping her grow as a character that I think works out really well for her. Tea break. So the nice thing about this book too is obviously you do get to see a little bit more into Dayne's history. You get to find out what happened to the old alpha of his pack, which is why I really love that dual kind of how things are going on both sides, what each main character is thinking about, because you do get to get more of that backstory of him, what happened to his old alpha, kind of what happened to consider him or what got him the name of the Cold Alpha. So one of the things that I do tend to like about this book is that the ending leads into book 3. So it kind of gives you a slight teaser that leads you into book 3. Not so much a cliffhanger. Like if you don't really care about the characters, I feel like you could still walk away from it with no issue. but it gives you that slight tease slash cliffhanger of, hey, like the beginning of book 3 is kind of where book 2 leaves off. So it's really nice if you want to just keep going with the series. You just keep going and there's no interruptions and there's no breaks. So before we continue and I give you my rating, let's go ahead and let's have a sip of tea, because I love tea when it's nice and fresh and brewed. Oh. So my rating for this book is a 4.5 out of 5. There are definitely pieces of it that I feel like could have gone into the first book to make the first book a little bit more understandable, a lot less confusing at that point. So I do give this book a 4.5. I feel like for a book to get a 5-star out of me, it would have to be a book that I would be willing to read over and over and over again and not get tired of reading it. So this book comes very close, but doesn't quite meet that mark. But it is really good. It explains things better. I probably could honestly take it down to a 4, just because I don't think it hits that close to perfect thinking about it more. So we'll change our minds. I'll take that book down to a 4. Like I said, it definitely pieces could have gone into the first book to make the first book a little bit less confusing and make me want to read it more and more. But we'll see if any books ever make it to a 5. If you have any suggestions for Kindle Unlimited books that you would like for me to read and give you a review on, let me know down below in the comments. I'm always looking for a good book for suggestions. Honestly, Book Talk has kind of started taking over my feed and I love it. I do have a couple of books that are, I guess you could say, newer that I do have on my list to read. So we will see how those go once I get to them. I do want to kind of finish this series before I get there, and then maybe I'll test out some of the newer books as long as they're on Kindle Unlimited, because that is what I want this series to be focused on, is just Kindle Unlimited books. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Hit that subscribe button while you're down there leaving me a comment on what book you think I should start reading, what series you think I might like. I do like fantasy, romance, supernatural books, so let me know. I also have my social media linked below if you would like to keep up with me there as well. And of course, I will have the link to this Keto Danish, so you can see how that video goes and how it ended up the way it looks. And I hope you enjoy. Once again, thumbs up, subscribe, leave me a comment, all the things, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.